Good morning, everyone. It's just coming up, in fact, it's just rolled over to 8 o'clock in the morning here in Les Sables d'Olonne, so it's time for an update and let you know what's going on. Jean-Luc and Mark up here heading towards the Azores High in the North Atlantic, Uku and Akam down here, Istvan sailing well in consistent weather, and Tapio down in the Southern Ocean. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry about that. So let's just start back here with Tapio, just show you his progress in relation to weather and so on. It was interesting, as you know, a couple of days ago he had that heavy weather come through, and he's been experiencing quite big seas ever since. The sea hasn't gone down. He's got 6 metre breaking waves at the moment. You can see it here. This is real time for now. This is 6 metre seas here. It's just starting to drop off. So the sea has been dictating everything that he's been doing. We'll go back here to wind. And we had been giving him projections of this storm that's coming down now from the northwest. And initially we said you better try and outrun it, get to the east as fast as you can. Then the storm, instead of coming down from the north like this, coming straight down, it started to swing across a bit. So then we said best thing to do is to go south. And then as the computer, the data information coming in from the computer model was updated every 8 or 12 hours, the forecast track for the storm kept changing. Anyway, we did give him the last message to go south, but he wasn't able to alter course. The seas wouldn't let him. They were breaking, and so he had to keep going east. And now, fortunately, the track of the storm is going more and more to the west. So originally it was out here, then it was coming down there, and now it's coming down this way. So we sent him another message last night and said, okay, just keep barreling as fast as you can to the east, and it should go behind you. So we'll just click that through now every 3 hours, and you'll see what happens. So it looks as if he's getting more wind than it's showing here as well. This is suggesting he's getting 15 to 20. He's probably getting 25, 30. So there's a bit more wind happening than what's showing. So you can see now it will lighten off a bit, but it's still going to the west, and this is the system that's forming up behind. It's also decreased in size and strength, but it's still forming into a storm cell there. Got some very confused breezes, and so this is where it will be in about 30 hours. Something like that, 30 hours or so from where his boat position is now. So by then, we'd expect Tapio to be somewhere over by the P in his name. If you can, I'll just blow that up a bit more. So he'll be probably, as this storm cell is in this position, he should be right on the edge of it, and he'll still get some big northerlies. There's no doubt about that. You'll get some big northerlies, but if we click this through again for the next 3 hours, you'll see he's on the top edge of it, so all should be well, as long as he can hold his current course. And as it moves away, it's getting bigger, but in size, but not any more vicious. So he should be right with that. We're not worried about it. The good news is he's making great speeds. So right now he's doing 4.5 knots. That's fast when you've got barnacle bottom, and he'll get a bit of a kick along. And his relative position, it's kind of interesting. If we put everyone will remember the penalty box here. Oh, wrong one. Hang on. Here we go. Yeah, so you can see he's still a bit north. He'll have to start coming down, because if we look forward into the future, if we go forward a few days, I think it's about the 20th, there is a big, another big one. It's way too early to be worried about it, but I think on about the 20th, where are we? Here it comes, this one here. Starts to, oh, that was a bit quick. Anyway, it starts to go right through where he might be, and so once this one goes through, we should see him starting to come down south, and he'll be facing typical Southern Ocean conditions for the next few weeks, because that's where he is, and he'll be very happy to get round the corner. So all's well for now. So looking at Istvan, he's continuing to make gains on Uku here. He's going into a light patch, but he's still making 3.3 knots, and the wind direction is, oh, hang on, the wind direction is not too bad. He says he's in a calm now. This is happening pretty quick. If it's correct, then these times are the position of the boat is 3 hours old. That was at 4 o'clock this morning UTC, 5 o'clock here, and it's now 8, so that was 3 hours ago. So he's probably going to slow down again. And if we, I'll just come back here, focus that there, and you'll see that as he goes forward in weather, if we go forward a day, it's all still Not too good, but not too bad. He's going to be going north here, getting sucked in. He's got a good easterly breeze. There's no problem with that. We go through another day. Gets a bit tricky because he'll now have to he'll be heading over to the northwest if he holds on starboard tack, and then he's got a headwind band coming as well once he gets over that trough. So, but then it goes light. Okay, from behind, so that's okay. Just all over the place. Then it's going to hook around. He's got strong winds around him. Looks like it's coming up from behind, so that'll get a move on for him. He'll be rocketing on that. How far is it going to go? Yeah, he'll get a couple of days on that. So overall, he's going to be making reasonable progress on track heading north. Uku still not going anywhere in a hurry. He's doing 2.5 knots at the moment. You can see he's got this huge area of light winds. Where normally you'd expect to see possibly trade winds down this far, and if we look at the big picture up north, you can see there's only light trade winds just at the very top, and previously you'd expect to see this wind coming around from the northeasterly, a little bit headwinds, excuse me, but not doing too bad. So what's he likely to get in the next few days with Istvan heading down on him? Let's see. So we come forward a day. Still light headwinds going nowhere. So there's one day he hasn't made a lot of progress. Next day on the 16th, same again unless he gets out. So there's 2 days. 17th, starting to get light headwinds. So I think Istvan's going to still keep making some gains on him. This is going to be quite interesting. So there's 3 days where Istvan's going to be doing better. 4 days, light headwinds again, and let's see, Istvan will be down here at that time making pretty good progress, so that's going to be a bit of fun. So watch this space. Certainly no storms, so Uku's going to be frustrated but safe, and if he was cruising he'd be enjoying the weather and having a great time. So now let's go up to the main game up here, and again, all very interesting indeed. Everything's being driven by this low pressure system here. I'll just make sure that's focused in. Okay, so yeah, so this is the one that's driving everything that Mark and Jean-Luc have got. You can clearly see whatever happens, they're in the same weather system. Okay, now because it's rotary, that means different things for different boats depending on where you are. Mark's been a bit lucky here because there's been very light winds behind him, and he's been driving so hard and fast, he's managed to keep up to the breeze. And right now, he's looking pretty good. He's doing 6 knots, and he's got a bit of an angle. His breeze is coming from the north-northwest down here, so he's able to make a reasonably good course. Jean-Luc being up higher, his wind is coming more from the north. It's got a little tad of east in it, but nothing really. It's really a true northerly wind. It's not his favourite side. That's his weaker side of the mast, so he's possibly even slowed down more than he normally would. He's only making 3.4 knots, and that's means that Mark is definitely gaining. He's on a better course and he's going faster. So distance to the finish, which you can get off of the leaderboard here, is always quite interesting. If you compare Jean-Luc and Mark now, there's only about 180 miles in it, distance to the finish, which is very close. But just as relevant right now, when you know that Mark wants to go this way and Jean-Luc wants to go this way, because they've got to go north to get into the next weather system. They don't want to go over here to distance to the finish. If we put the course on, you'll see there's the course over there. That's the finish line, but Mark's not heading to the finish at the moment, neither is Jean-Luc. They want to go this way. So therefore, distance apart still has a place in has a bit of relevance to what's going on. And you can also see how they're doing. So it's only 323 miles apart. So Mark has definitely gained a little bit once again. So what's going to happen over the next few days? Well, the first thing that's going to happen is that it'll depend on what the centre of this low does, and that'll change the wind direction for each of them. So if we look at that, I'll come back to, I'll leave it on that scale. I think you can see, maybe not. I'll go up one more size, and we'll click it through every 3 hours now. You'll see that slowly but surely, as Jean-Luc gets higher up and as the centre of this high moves away, Jean-Luc's wind direction is changing. There's getting more easterly in it. As it gets more easterly in it, that's a good thing because Jean-Luc will be able to tack across, get on the starboard tack, which is his strong side, and start to hook his course around to come north. And you can see up here it's an easterly, which is perfect. So if you're on the top side of this low pressure system, you've got an easterly, you're going to be going north with reaching breezes, which is quite fast. Okay, so that means obviously it's going to, whilst it's favourable to Mark Slats at the moment, it's going to get favourable to Jean-Luc very quickly as this centre moves away. So I think you'll see Jean-Luc starting to alter his course. He'll tack over and he'll start going north a bit faster. Now what's happening to Mark Slats is the exact opposite. The wind is now swinging more directly to the north, so he's either going to have to go out to the northeast or to the northwest, and it's softening off. You can see a distinct softening of the wind down here, whereas because you're staying above the halfway point of the low, this is where there's normally more breeze. So Jean-Luc's going to hold the wind strength a little bit longer as well. So that's kind of cool. This is happening pretty fast. That's 3 hours. He is 6 hours on, and you can see softening off for Mark, still northerly. It's softening for Jean-Luc. He's got to get a move on, but he can't tack too soon either because he needs to be close to the centre of the low. I'm not sure how he's working out his weather at the moment, but if he tacks too soon, he's going to go over into this lighter stuff. So he still needs to head over here somewhere. And then there's another 3 hours. Overall, it's lightening off. The centre's moving slowly. I'll just come down here. So, and I'll give you another one, which is bringing it up to 24 hours away. So we go, this is close to 24 hours. Now you can see the whole lot's going light, but still the higher you are, and Jean-Luc is up here, he's got more of an easterly slant than Mark Slats. So Mark is going to have light, very light, direct headwinds from where he wants to go. Jean-Luc is going to be a bit better off. So I think you'll see the tide turn in favour, of Jean-Luc in the next 24 hours because Mark's been doing well down the bottom there with a better wind direction. I'll scale it back so we can look ahead into this region here as time goes by, and I'll just click it every 3 hours. So here's a day and a half from now, still very light, but still a distinct easterly flow here. So the higher Mark gets, the more he'll get easterlies. But even then, this is about a day and a half away, the easterlies, because the centre of the low is moving down alongside Mark, where his position is, he's going to get easterlies. So Jean-Luc's only going to have the favour for about a day. So he'll make a little bit of a gain, I think, on Mark Slats then during that day. Then it's all even again, okay? And they're all coming up here. And this is where they have the next challenge. You've got this zone of no wind. It's the centre of a little squashed high, you might say. And as we go forward through 16, 17, this is the ride across to the other side that they're going to have to take, and it's going to start to happen in the next 2 days. So when Jean-Luc gets these easterlies and Mark, they'll hook across, and they've got to take a punt of when they try to get across the other side, because if you look at this is a high pressure system. This is close to the Azores high. Here's the finish over here. And this is where they've got to get now to hook around, and it's changed. It's changed a lot in the last 48 hours. So whatever this does will determine how easy or how hard it's going to be for them to get across and head this way. So and by the look of that, they'll definitely ride this across. They don't want to be on this side. They'll ride this across. There's the Azores right there. I'll just focus that to make sure you got it. So this is their door to the other side, and then let's just come across here so you can see the finish over there. We'll come forward a day. Yep, that's pretty good. They get across. They're running this way. They'll be going pretty fast. There's the 18. That looks fantastic. So you can see they've come across here. They're rocketing around here with following breezes. That's all good. They'll be in this slipstream or in this wind flow again, going around this centre. So that looks good. We'll go forward to the 20th. Yep, gets interesting. This is where it starts to change now, because they've come under you can see now they've got this high right up here, and they've got a huge northerly flow of exactly where they want to go. So it's going to get complicated again on the 20th. So 6 days from now, depending on what happens to the forecast, it might not be accurate. it's going to get complicated with headwinds, and depends what happens here, so we won't worry about looking much further forward than that. But certainly in the next 4 or 5 days, you can see the tactic. They've got to sneak as far north as they can, just coming back. They've got to get up here, and then a couple of days later, when there's this sort of little no wind area, it'll turn into a wind bridge, effectively, to get them over the other side. They'll hook into that. They'll then come around and they'll start heading home. So all very interesting indeed. And Jean-Luc's already saying he's not going to make his January 26 predictions, and a few of us have been considering that for some time, since he stopped for a few days. So it's hard to pick. 10 days out, we'll have a better idea of what the weather is doing up here and come up with an ETA. Everyone wants to know. I think it's fair and reasonable to expect somewhere between the 28th and the 30th at this stage of January, but let's wait and see how it progresses, and we'll talk to both of them on Wednesday when we do the live from the office here in Les Sables d'Olonne. So that's really about it. Watch this space. It's definitely a race. Thanks a lot.